Hey there. Welcome to the Lean Lifestyle Podcast. This is your host, Courtney Witten, certified personal trainer and health coach and owner of C Fitness. Welcome to our show. So today we are chatting about why you're not seeing results with workouts such as Burn Bootcamp or Orange Theory. So this is something I've really been wanting to talk about for a long time now, 3 years to be exact. And honestly, I've been kind of worried and scared to come forward with what I believe is just not the best workouts for women over 40. So I actually just came forward with this to my private Facebook group, Lean Lifestyle, just a couple weeks ago. I did a Facebook Live and I actually had a lot of feedback from that. So what I wanted to do today is make this public and talk about why these workouts just might not be the best workouts for women over 40. So before we move on here, I do want to make sure that I'm being very clear that this is not an attack against these workouts. This is really just me sharing my expertise as a trainer and a coach who work with women over 40, who work with perimenopausal women. And also, this is actually coming from someone who used to work at Burn Bootcamp. So I taught group fitness for a very long time. So I just want you all to know that I am not attacking group fitness. I was a group fitness instructor for 10 years before I went self-employed and started my own business. So I do want you all to know that I absolutely loved teaching group fitness. It is how I know all the people I know now. It really was helpful for me starting out on my fitness journey as a trainer and a coach. And I also want to let you all know that I do think that group fitness is a great place to start. But here's the thing. The reason why I've been wanting to come forward with this is because I have a lot of old friends who still work out at these places that have come forward to me like, hey, Courtney, I'm not seeing results anymore. Like, what is going on here? So that's exactly why I decided to go public. And again, I'm not trying to bash these places. In fact, I do think that these places can serve a purpose, but I'm talking specifically about a specific population. And I'm talking about women who have been training consistently for over a year. And we're gonna be talking about why that matters. Also, I'm talking to women who are perimenopausal, because these workouts can actually cause stress. And we're going to be talking about that on our show today. I'm also talking to women that have hormone imbalances because these workouts can be very stressful on our bodies. And I'm also talking to the woman who wants better body composition. Okay, so not just weight loss. I'm talking about more muscle and less fat. So that's who I'm talking to. So just know that I do apologize in advance if this upsets you. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here, but I just want to show an honest look at these workouts. And I just want you all to be aware that if you are running into plateaus, if you're working out consistently 5-6 days a week and you're not seeing results, but you're doing these workouts, then these workouts could be why you're not seeing results. I do also want to say here that we are talking specifically about the actual workouts. Okay, so we're not talking about nutrition because obviously if you're not seeing results, but you're not doing much with your nutrition, maybe you have no idea what you're consuming. Maybe you're struggling with excess calories and sugar, things like that, then obviously you're not going to see good results. But for today's purposes, on this podcast, we are just going to be talking about the actual workouts and why they might not be the best bet for women over 40, women who are perimenopausal, and also women that have been training for a long time. Like all of these things do play a role. So that's what I want to say here. Again, I do apologize in advance if I upset anyone. I do have a lot of good friends that still work out here at these places. And again, I do think that group fitness is a great place to start, but I do think at some point that if you want to continue to see good results with your body composition, if you want more muscle tone, if you want to have less body fat, that there is things that you can do with your training that is a little bit better suited for this population. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is stress. So yes, we have emotional stress, but we also have physical stress. So physical stress can be caused by doing too much training. So just overtraining in general. This is something that I've ran into problems with throughout my training career, teaching a lot of group fitness classes, plus doing things like working out way too much, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. That can actually cause a lot of physical stress. It can lead to things like inflammation, not recovering well, and that is going to translate into not so great performance. So this is really what I'm talking about is overtraining. I'm talking about doing too much high intensity training. This can be actually stressful on our bodies, especially as we get older, especially as we've reached perimenopause, which is the onset of menopause that usually begins around late 30s to early 40s and lasts all the way up until we are no longer menstruating. And that is generally about a 2 to 10 year span. And also, of course, if we have any hormonal imbalances, this is what I'm talking about, especially. So if you're perimenopausal, if you're having any issues with hormone imbalances, such as hypothyroidism, then these workouts can actually be stressful to the body. So this is not good because if you're not recovering well, if you're inflamed, right, then you're probably not going to be recovering well and your performance is going to suffer. And it is kind of common. I have several people that I know that have developed hypothyroidism, doing these types of workouts, doing too much cardio and HIIT training. So we do know that it can exacerbate symptoms of hypothyroidism. So that's the first thing I want to say, because these workouts are generally very high intensity. Most days are high intensity. In fact, I remember when I worked at Burn, it was not uncommon to have things like cardio bursts in between sets, like even on strength days. Lots of plyometrics, so lots of jumping. The other issue with these workouts is that injuries, like the thing is that it's not necessary to have to jump in order to lose weight. Like it's just not necessary. We can absolutely lose weight without doing a lot of plyometrics, a lot of jumping that is actually pretty hard on our joints, lots of repetitive movements. So some of the injuries that I saw when I worked there was a lot of ankle sprains. So in my eyes, I just don't think all of the high intensity training is useful at all. Sure, it can be a good calorie burn, but again, like it's just not good on our joints to do a lot of repetitive movements and to do a lot of jumping. So this just does not translate well when we are older. I do think that there is better things that we can do for fitness that are lower intensity, that is lower impact, which is going to be a lot more better on our joints. And again, it's a huge misbelief that you have to do things like high intensity training or a lot of cardio in order to lose weight. And in fact, I do think that it can interfere with our muscle growth. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So the other issue with these workouts, such as Burn and Orange Theory, which are generally, and I should say that these workouts do have strength training in them. But again, these workouts have a lot of cardio in them as well. And there is a problem with that. So cardio can be a very useful tool. And we've talked about this before on our podcast, that it should be just used as a tool. It does not need to be used all the time as a means to lose weight. In fact, that can actually backfire. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that as the show goes on today. But one thing that I see a lot of women make mistakes with is doing way too much cardio. There is a time and place to do it. And if you're doing cardio 5 days a week, that's probably too much, okay? Unless you're in a fat loss phase and you're doing things like ramping up your duration and your sessions gradually as you get deeper into a fat loss phase. That's really the best way. And we're going to be talking more about that here in just a second. But the problem with doing too much cardio is It's going to be, again, too stressful to the body. It can mess with hormones. It can be not great on joints and can lead to injury. But it breaks down muscle tissue. Too much cardio will lead to breaking down muscle tissue. And this is exactly why, like, when I look back at photos when I was there, I had this skinny fat look. And the reason was because I was doing way too much cardio. I was training too much in general. But the cardio was really breaking down my muscle tissue. So yeah, I looked lean, but at the same time, I kind of had like this skinny fat look because I had too much fat compared to how much muscle I had, right? So yeah, I was lean and I had a low body weight, but I actually did not look that great. I definitely did not have the glutes I have now. And that was really because it was just too much high intensity and it was way too much cardio. So that's not good, especially if you're over 40, because it is harder to build muscle as time goes on. And cardio will break down that muscle tissue. And this is especially true if you're doing a lot of calorie restriction during this time. So that is just a shitstorm waiting to happen. So this is especially when you are doing a calorie deficit and you're doing a lot of cardio, you are at risk of losing lean muscle mass. And there's so many reasons why we want to weight train and prioritize weight training and make sure we're not doing too much cardio, because it really does get harder as time goes on. So age-wise, yes, it is harder to put on muscle. And the other issue is being trained, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. So as you get more and more trained, so as you're being more consistent with working out, you're really going to have to make sure that you're increasing the weight loads. Okay. So the other issue here, not just the cardio, but the other issue at stake here is the fact that whenever you're in these structured group classes, they really don't give you a lot of time to rest. I remember when I worked at Burn, it was like literally like a 10 to 20 second rest in between sets. Y'all, that is like not enough at all. So you can even lift heavy there if you wanted to. Okay. So that's my argument is, like, I understand that, you know, when I talk to people, I'm like, listen, you just can't lift that heavy there. And they're like, yeah, but I am. But it's like, no, you're not, because here's the issue. Whenever you're only resting 10 to 20 seconds, you're literally leaving strength gains on the table, because if you rest longer, you're going to be able to lift heavier loads, and that's going to translate to more muscle. So I think it's just a big misconception that you need to have like this sweaty workout in order for it to count. Well, like that is so not true. A good workout is not measured by how much you sweat. It's going to be measured by, are you progressing your lifts? Are you sticking to a plan? Are you doing the right kind of exercises? Are you implementing progressive overload where you are challenging yourself by lifting heavier most sessions? So continuously challenging your muscles with progressive overload. That is what is going to constitute a good, effective workout, not how much you're sweating. The other issue is that these places do not have machines. Not that I have anything against dumbbells, but here's the problem is I literally did not see hardly any growth in my lower body, especially until I started working out at a gym. So, you guys know, I absolutely love training at home. I still have clients that I train at their homes, and I'm totally honest with my clients. I'm like, listen, at a certain point, like the next step is working out at a gym, because here's the reality. It's really difficult to do super heavy front squats or a goblet squat, anything like that, right? Like you're just going to be able to lift so much more weight when you have access to like a hack squat machine or a Smith machine where you can do some squats, or a barbell squat. You're just going to be able to lift so much more weight because you're going to be limited on how heavy dumbbells you can hold. What I want to say is that, especially if you're over 40, especially if you've been weight training for a long time, you're going to see better results in a gym, a full gym where you have access to these machines where you can push more weight. So that's the issue with muscle loss at these places. Not that you can't build muscle at these places, because here's the thing, like big gains is a thing. So meaning if you're new to resistance training, pretty much anything that you do is going to work. you're not adapted at all. So meaning your body is not used to that stimulus over and over again. So that first year, you're probably going to see a lot of change in your body. If you have fat to lose, you're probably going to lose body fat. And you're also going to probably be able to build a decent amount of muscle at the same time as well. But here's the reality is that most of us, if you have been training for a long time, if you've been doing things like group fitness or working out on your own for a long time, it does get harder to do that. It gets really difficult to do both. And that's the other thing that people don't understand is that it is actually really hard to lose fat and build muscle at the same time if you're not a newbie. So again, I do think that Burn is a great place to get started at, or Orange Theory, or really any kind of group fitness strength training class, but there is issues, okay? So it is the too much cardio that's breaking down the tissue. And again, not every workout place is like this, but Burn and Orange Theory, they do a lot of cardio, and I think it's completely unnecessary and actually detrimental to muscle building. You're not going to be able to take a lot of rest because these workouts are very, very structured and they are timed. And you're just going to be leaving strength gains on the table. You're going to be able to lift so much more weight if you have longer. So I literally rest 2 to 3 minutes in between sets and exercises. And then finally, if they're dumbbell based, you're, especially with lower body, you are leaving strength gains on the table because again, you're going to cap out at how heavy. Like I can't really squat more than like a 20 on each side for front squats. It's just too hard to get it up there. So that is what's wrong with muscle building. And again, muscle building is the most important thing that we need to be thinking about because we do lose muscle mass with time very gradually, especially if we're not weight training consistently. And we also need to make sure that we are prioritizing muscle building for metabolic health. Whenever you have more muscle mass on you, you're going to be able to burn more calories. It's going to make body recomposition so much easier. So what we're going to talk about next is training adaptation. So we talked a little bit about this earlier. So that is the other issue with these workouts like Orange Theory and Burn is that if you've been working out for a long period of time, then more than likely, again, you're going to adapt to these workouts, okay? So the next step is to work out at a full gym where you have access to things like hack squats or any kind of squat machine, Smith machine where you can lift heavier weight. So it is a thing. The longer that you train, the more your body is going to adapt to what you're doing. So that's a lot of times why people are not seeing those results anymore is that they stay at these places way too long. So it's just not going to be good because you are going to have caps on how much that you can lift at these places. So we have to consider that. If you're not seeing results, it's like, okay, well, have you been doing this for a long time? And if that's the case, then it might be time to think about joining an actual gym, right? And doing some workouts on your own. And I do totally understand because I do have this with my in-person personal training clients. Here's the thing. I understand that some of you guys just want to go somewhere and have someone tell you what to do, okay? And kind of zone out and not have to think about it. But here's the thing. You're doing yourself a disservice by doing this. Y'all, like, I'm telling you, the results are when you work out solo. But I'm literally putting this out there because there is a lot of people who do not understand what they're doing wrong and they're not seeing results, and they want to change their body. Honestly, the next step is working out on your own. There are so many benefits to doing it. Okay. First of all, you're not going to have to like coordinate your schedules with a group class schedule or with a personal trainer. It's also going to be less money. It's cheaper for most places to just have a gym membership. Like where I go, it's less than $30 a month. And it's also going to just be so much more convenient. You're going to be able to work out when it's convenient for you. So I totally understand the whole I just want to zone out, but if you want next level results, it's time to step it up and it's time to learn how to lift weights. Seriously, that's where it is at. So, yes, training adaptations is a thing, and that's exactly why, even though I absolutely love training at home, and I still train at home sometimes, but the thing is that, yeah, upper body you could probably get away with, but I've seen much better results by starting training at a gym, at least on lower body day, where I can push a lot more weight. So it is a thing. So if you've been training for a long time, probably the reason why you're plateauing is, of course, it could be something with nutrition, but again, we're talking specifically about training. That it's time for you to just start working out on your own and lifting heavier weight loads so you can see better results, so you can make sure you're challenging your muscles, because that is going to wear out after a while. Because I do know a lot of people that it did work for them in the beginning, but over time, things just, started kind of slowing down. And the reason is because your body is starting to adapt to that. I also want to just throw in something real quick here about how these places brag about, we never do the same workout twice. Guys, that's like bullshit marketing is what that is, honestly. That is a bunch of bullshit, because as a personal trainer, I know that you do not need a muscle confusion, which actually is not a thing. You do not need a shit ton of variety in order to see results. And in fact, I think that's why, one of the reasons why you're not seeing results is because whenever you have all these different exercises, it takes a while to figure out how to actually execute them correctly, how to fire the right muscles properly, and how to do the actual exercise with good body mechanics. So, you're trying to figure out how to actually do the exercise, meaning you're not going to be able to do the exercise well, okay? Meaning you're probably not going to be able to do your potential weight load. So again, you're leaving strength gains on the table. The other issue is that they do a lot of these like weird combo exercises. So things like, for example, doing like a lunge with a lateral raise. Okay, there's a problem with that. I understand the whole it saves time and it works, a whole bunch of muscles at once. Guys, that's a bunch of bullshit. Here's why, okay? You're more than likely going to be able to do more than 5-10 pounds that you could do on a lateral raise with your legs. So meaning you're going to have to go light enough to do a lateral raise, okay? But you're not challenging your legs at all. So does that make sense to you? You're going to be much better off doing a heavy stationary lunge, okay, with heavier weights, and then doing the lateral raise separately with lighter weights. So there's one. And then again, I just feel like whenever you're trying to figure out how to execute these exercises, you're not going to be able to lift that heavy. You're trying to figure out the exercise, so you're probably not going to be able to do it that well. So it is a huge misconception that you need a lot of workout variety. Y'all, you don't. You really don't. All you need is the basic exercises. And that's what I teach inside of Lean Physique. We do basic exercises. So we do hip thrusts, we do deadlifts, we do lunges, we do squats. And my ladies learn how to do them well. And we only change workouts every 3 to 4 months because I want my ladies to know how to execute these exercises. I want them to be able to get better at these exercises with time. And I also want them to know how to navigate a good workout and not have to sit here and memorize a new workout or try to figure out a new workout every single time. Y'all, that takes up a lot of energy. It's a waste of brain space, okay? And it's completely unnecessary to see results. So if you are attracted to these places because you think it's cool that they never repeat workouts, it's a bunch of marketing bullshit, and it's actually not true at all. And we learned this a long time ago in our certifications. So it really is bullshit marketing. doing the same workouts. And yes, I understand it's boring, but boring is easy, guys. Like, let's make this easier on ourselves. You do not need to have like all these different freaking workouts that work multiple muscle groups at once. That is not the way to a lean physique. If you want to look leaner, if you want to have more muscle tone, it's honestly doing basic lifts, learning how to do them well, and progressing them over time. Yes, training adaptations, they will get in the way, but you literally just have to move on and start working out on your own. Like, that's literally the solution. Because here's the thing, you can say like, oh, I'll just lift heavier when I go to Orange Theory. But again, there is so many reasons why you cannot live to your potential at these places. They're not giving you enough time in between sets. So it's science, guys. Like, it's just not going to work. And dumbbells, like, upper body is probably okay, but lower body, you're going to get really strong. And at some point, like, doing dumbbell moves for your lower body is probably not going to be the most effective. If you just want to like lose a little weight, stay somewhat lean, it's totally fine. I'm just saying, if you want next level results, if you want to look like you work out, this is what you need to do, y'all. You need to let go of the group fitness and learn how to lift weights at a gym. Okay. All right. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys think. I would love to hear your perspective. I am going to put a link to my email, cfitnessonlinetraining@gmail.com. I totally welcome your thoughts on this. Again, I do not want to upset anyone. That is not my intention. And the reason why I've stayed quiet for all this time is literally because I've been scared to talk about this stuff. But the thing is that there is so many people that believe that this is the answer. Group fitness is, the answer to losing fat and getting lean. And honestly, it just is not. And as much as I love teaching group, as much as I love the people that work out those places, as much as I wish that it would work, it just honestly doesn't. So, and again, this is a very specific population. There's just too many things wrong. And yes, as we get older, we need to be changing our lifestyle up. We need to be changing how we train and how we eat. It's just how it is. And I want to leave here with saying that the last thing we're going to talk about is all of that cardio and high intensity. It might be increasing your hunger. So this is an issue that I ran into when I was working at Burn Bootcamp. I was training a lot of camps. I was training myself and trying to keep up on all of that. I had to be able to pass a crazy, insane strength and conditioning test that included things like 5 full pull-ups and 25 chest to ground push-ups. Like, I had to stay in pretty darn good shape just to work there. So I definitely felt the pressure. And because of that, I overtrained myself. But one thing I really noticed was how much my appetite increased. Again, sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing if you're trying to lose body fat and you don't know why you have out of control hunger, is because cardio does make you hungry. It can for a lot of people anyway. Maybe not everyone, but cardio will make you hungry. So I talked about this on my live stream inside my group when we were talking about this. I was talking about, hey, maybe you've done something like train for like a half marathon or something, maybe you went out with the intention of, ooh, maybe this will help me lose weight, right? Maybe you don't run for that reason, but maybe some of you do. So I want to kind of use this as an example because I know some of you all will know what I'm talking about here. But signing up for something like a race because you think like, oh man, that's going to be a lot of calories burned, right? And when you think about it, yeah, you would think that would equate to weight loss. But the thing is that maybe some of you have had the experience like Ashley, like it just made me like either maintain my weight or even gain a little bit of weight, right? Because it might make you a little hungrier. So that's one thing I did see a lot. I feel that these places really push calorie burn. And I think Orange Theory is the one where they have you wear like the heart rate monitor and stuff and like try to like beat other people with, not just crazy, y'all. Here's the thing. Cardio does not equal fat loss. It does not. And in fact, I think it kind of screws up fat loss because one, is stressful. Two, it's not good on your joints. And three, is probably going to make you hungry and is going to make you overcompensate later. So that's why cardio does not exactly equal fat loss. And I think it's a terrible idea to encourage people to burn as many calories as possible, to do all of these HIIT workouts, when that is not the way to fat loss. The way to fat loss is creating a calorie deficit, okay, through your nutrition. And I do want to talk about, I might do a whole episode about my orthorexia when I was obsessed with working out all the time and healthy eating. It was especially overtraining. And I had that belief that I had to do not only weight training all the time, but I would do 45 minutes of cardio a day after my lifting sessions. And guys, that kept me stuck for so long. So the reason why I don't look like I've been working out for 20 years is because I made these mistakes too. And that's 100% why I wanted to come forward here, is because I did. For a long time, I believed that HIIT was the answer. I believed that I had to burn calories through cardio, and that could be further from the truth. Honestly, if you want to lose body fat, you have to take a look at your nutrition. Sure, cardio can help, and again, it can be a very useful tool in a fat loss phase, but I do believe that we are encouraging women to do way too much cardio, and that's causing them to not have the physique that they want because it's making them hungry and it's making them lose muscle mass. So I just think that it's just negative gym culture to tout burning off the calories from the weekend or from the holiday. You hear this shit being said during these group fitness workouts, and I just think it's disempowering to women. We do not need all of this cardio and HIIT training in order to lose body fat. And in fact, it's probably keeping you from the physique that you want. So this is the truth, y'all. Even when I was a trainer, I felt for this stuff. But the thing is that while I was working at Burn, this is when I really got interested with working with the woman over 40 who's perimenopausal, the woman who has hormone imbalances. This was really when I started getting very interested, and I just started listening to my clients at the gym, and they all had similar complaints. I'm hungry all the time. I'm not recovering well. I'm getting injured. I sprained my ankle again from, all this jumping. I'm doing everything I can. I'm working out 6 days a week and I'm not losing any fat. I'm losing muscle tone. I don't look like I work out. These are the things that I'm hearing. So while I was working here, I started really putting two and two together. And again, I've really been working with the over 40 woman for pretty much my whole career. That was something that I noticed early on in my career. I'm like, man, yeah, all my clients are in their 40s and 50s. And it's because things do get harder as we get older. And I'm very saddened that no one is talking about these things. And I know I'm probably going to get attacked here, and I do apologize, but I would be doing a disservice by staying quiet. Okay. And again, I'm not talking to every single woman over 40, every single woman who's in perimenopause. This might not even apply to you. But if you're not seeing results, there is a reason why. Especially if you are working out 5-6 days a week, there is a disconnect. And more than likely, it's because you need to move on and do something else. These classes are just not working for you anymore. And of course, a lot of this has to do with nutrition, but we're not talking about that in that context today. But I just wanted to come on here and come forward and publicly and tell you about my own struggles with my body composition when I worked there. My own struggles with injuries. I did have injuries while I was there, and I still have a nagging shoulder injury that will not go away. It is better. But I just feel like no one is talking about this, and I want to talk about this because I want you all to know that it has nothing to do with you being broken. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? It's just that you're making mistakes with your training. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you keeping an open mind. I do welcome any feedback. you can email me at cfitnessonlinetraining@gmail.com. A couple updates. Check me out on YouTube. I will put a link in the show notes. Check out my YouTube channel. I have a Body Recomposition 101 video series that is now on YouTube. Beautiful videos that my videographer did for me. She's just a gem, and they're all short, so everything is like 3 minutes or less. And then I also have some shorts that go along with the short form videos. Great videos there. So that way, if you just want little tiny tidbits, more bite-sized chunks of body recomposition for women, check that out. Facebook group, I will drop that in the show notes as well. Find us over at Lean Lifestyle on Facebook. So same name as this podcast. We would love to have you. Inside there, I post most days of the week, things like reels, fitness content, nutrition content, things like what we talked about today. And I also try to do like a monthly live stream in our group. And also Lean Physique, my membership for women over 40. So if this episode resonated with you, I really want you to check out Lean Physique. I only have a few spots open right now. I am offering some one-on-one support. So when you sign up, you actually get a one-on-one session with me, a 30-minute one-on-one session to kick things off. And you also get one-on-one messaging with me. Okay. So I have very limited spots for that. So I can only take just a couple more ladies into the membership right now. But if you are struggling, if you're working out consistently, not seeing results, if you're working out at Orange Theory or Burn Bootcamp and you're not seeing the results, I highly recommend that you check out Lean Physique. It is specifically for women over 40 who are perimenopausal, women who want to lose fat and get lean. So check that out. I will put a link to for more information and to sign up. Again, I only have a few spots open. So as soon as I get those filled, I'm going to close down that page. Okay, so you can't sign up. So make sure that you do that because that is going to be probably very soon. And I believe that is it for now. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you keeping an open mind today. Again, sorry if I upset you. That is not my intention. I just want women to realize that, hey, maybe it's time to do something different. Again, like I love group fitness. I taught it for a long time. I did a lot of group fitness classes, but I've definitely seen way better results without the cardio, without the jumping. My joints feel better. And my body looks the way I want it to look. So it really does not have to be complicated, ladies. And I do think that there's just so much misinformation out there, like going back to like, you have to do like different workouts. No, you don't. Like, obviously we don't need to be like never increasing the weight or anything or doing variations, but that's just not true. And I just feel like it just scares people off from working out on their own because it's like, that seems really overwhelming if you have to do a different workout each time, right? That takes up a lot of brain space. So it can actually be very, very simple. You can have everything you need inside of an app. You also have some contact with me as well. So it's not just like an app, it's actual coaching. And then you'll also get things like group coaching sessions, things like that as well. So lots of great support. But that is it for now. I do welcome your reviews. So I am trying to get my podcast out there to more women who need to hear about this stuff. So please, if this resonates with you, I would appreciate your 5-star review on any platform that you are listening, because it really does help push more women into my ecosystem, because my goal is to help as many women as possible to look and feel their best at any age. So thanks so much for being here, and bye for now.